Are there any, I'll just start in on the session. If you do have any questions, try raising your hand, or I'll try getting to them, or just unmute your mic and we'll see what we can do, because we do have a fairly casual group. And I've made it kind of instead of a little more detailed like I did last time, I've made it kind of a higher level this time, or sorry, a more general level this time, because it's a real challenge for a lot of people to get into details when you don't know exactly what's going on. So one of the biggest things that most people don't understand is that Google is already scraping your information, and actually may even have a profile for some businesses without them even knowing. They're always looking for information, whether it's about you and the reason, or your competitors. And the reason why they're looking for information is Google wants to answer every question in the world in less than 0.2 of a second. What you can do to make sure that you're answered for the search queries that you want to be found for is you can give the Google local algorithm, because about 60% of searches right now have local intent. And I should have actually prefaced that the question that Google is trying to answer isn't necessarily the question that's being asked. They're trying to answer the intent. So Google knows if somebody is saying, for example, I need a tuxedo rental, that you don't need the best tuxedo in the world. You don't need a tuxedo from New York City or LA or Paris or Venice. You need a tuxedo from Hamilton, because you're likely searching in the Hamilton area. If you're listening to this presentation, you need a tuxedo rental in Hamilton, and they actually have two separate algorithms. So the traditional feed of all the 10 lists, that's the original algorithm, and now they have a separate local algorithm, and that's where your Google business profile and the information that you can add, or Google has already found out about you, that's where you can, the more information you add, the more information they have to make a proper choice about showing you. So just a little bit about myself really quick before we get in too far. I've been working with social and digital media for over 10 years now. Does anybody remember Google Plus or Vines other than Mark and myself? And it is now called the Google Business Profile. They did put Google My Business in the title simply because many people still remember it as that. It changed about a year ago. Google Maps is also integral to the Google Business Profile. I've worked with LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and I've even got a TikTok. It's not something I do. I don't show my face, so you're not going to see any dance moves. I know that's disappointing everyone. But we're going to be, TikTok though is affecting all other social channels. It hasn't affected the Google Business Profile yet, but we've seen there's now vertical video on LinkedIn. There's now vertical video on Facebook. There's vertical video on Instagram, and Instagram has changed from photos to the vertical video. And even the granddaddy network of them all, or the granddaddy side of them all for videos, YouTube now has YouTube Shorts, which are vertical videos. So in 1 year, not only can one of the most important things for a small business change its name, but an entirely new player has come in the last year that it's expanded and has changed the entire video marketing part of the internet. So we just have no idea what's going to be coming next. One of the advantages of working for over 10 years is I've seen things, I've seen the changes, and I've been in business since the 90s. I've been through a couple ups and downs. A little bit of perspective is helpful sometimes when you're in the midst of that horror of perhaps losing your profile, or you think the world's ending because a site has been changed or canceled in a way that you don't understand. A little bit of perspective definitely helps nowadays. And we don't know, not that I'm going to try and predict the future. We don't know what's going on in the next 6 to 10 months or 6 months to a year either. Are we in a recession? Are we, going to come out of this, come out of the post-COVID world as one of the top economies? We just don't know. And as I mentioned, the last couple of years have been really challenging. What I noticed though is very, very few people were focusing on local SEO or Google My Business. But when I was looking on the internet, when you were searching for something, the profile information was on the top right of the page with a few photos and a little bit of contact information and buttons. But it was the thing that was being seen most prominently. And most companies had different information on different results. So what happened is a good friend of mine, her business, once the shutdown happened, she went from 5 people, it was a local florist, she went from 5 people to herself. And we all know it's been a challenging couple of years. What I was able to do, and this is how I was able to get a little bit of insight into how the profile worked, is without paying for it, without paying for ads or cost per click or Facebook or LinkedIn or Instagram or whatever, was able to get her to the top level of the local profile without paying. And it was simply by adding content and optimizing the profile and giving Google as much information as we could about what she wanted, how she wanted to help her customers. So when you search your company, and if you have your mobile device right now, I do encourage you, just take a look at, go into the search bar and search your company and take a look and see how your company is viewed. On a mobile device is actually more important now than desktop. In the last year, it's actually changed from 40 to 60% of local searches are on a mobile. You know, that's just incredible, the change in the last couple of years, how we're now using our mobile devices more than we're using our desktops, but to the point that when we need some information, we're not going to the desktop anymore. So as we talk about images and videos a little later, you'll have me mention any information that you add to Google, whether it's a video or any rich media like a photo or an image or a graphic, you've got to make sure that it's understandable on something you can see in your hand. I was just talking to a client last night. She wanted to make this big poster for an upcoming event and post it on a Google profile. I measured my phone, that big poster she wanted to make at the biggest was only going to be seen by 5 by 8 centimeters. So the information that you post online, you want to make sure that it's understandable as a small image. You know, highly technical information is just not the place to be put. The Google business profile or even any other visual media that's going to be seen on your mobile device, it's just not the easiest place to understand it. What you can do though is, to help your company become more visible, is add the most up-to-date, and I can't stress, accurate information. For example, the address on your profile, if you're a location-based business, if you're going to put a period after the short form ST, or if you're just going to leave it with ST without the period, that has to be identical across all of your information. So not just on the Google profile, but on your website, on other directory information, because Google doesn't just look at it as the text that we see, they look at it as the information as it's inputted. So one of the things you want to make sure when you're setting up a profile, when you're setting up your information for your business, is to make sure that your name, your address, and your phone number is absolutely identical. And even on the rest of the search results page, we'll talk about that towards the end, the more consistent information is, the more Google trusts the information. So if you have your search results and every single thing below your profile on your mobile device, every single link has a different description about your business, you might want to take a look at that and see which is one that is more accurate and is more succinct, so that people and the Google local algorithm can understand that. One great thing about the Google profile is when we search, we Google it. And when we search on Google Maps, we search on Google Maps. Many of us, you know, a few of us might remember MapQuest, and I think they have an app and I don't know how to access it. Apple Maps is coming on strong. There's going to be ads soon, but it's still not as prominent as Google Maps. So the amount of information you can have that is available across the internet, on Google Maps, on all the other Google platforms, and all the information is generally at the top of the page about a company as well, or the ranking of companies that you have. And the best thing about the Google profile for now is it's still free. There are some things, there's local service ads where you can be like another ad at the top of the page, but I don't think anyone in our presentation today or anyone in the group today is part of one of those organizations. So as you took a look at your phone, you can see this isn't your parents' search engine results page. And yes, that's an old floppy disk, and I still remember the ones that actually were flexible. The search engine results page has changed from a list of 10 links it used to be to instant answers. And then there's the Google entities like the Google business page, brand, product, fact knowledge panels. If you Google IBM or if you Google the city of Hamilton, they'll have different information in the top right corner at the top of the search results than you will as a Google business profile. There's also photos and videos from all over the place. So if a photo has been uploaded and been tagged or is on your website and has been tagged properly, that can appear on the front page of the search results. Videos that you've posted to Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and even videos on YouTube can all show up in search results. There's people also ask, because Google knows if somebody is asking question A, their next question is going to be question B. Google answers literally billions of search requests every day, and probably even close to billions every hour. And then at the bottom of all that information, then we have the list of 10 links. Oh yeah, and a few ads. Does anybody actually pay attention to ads and click on them, or do you just see them and glance away? And one last thing is there's also a list of competitors often shown at the bottom of your Google profile. Now, what that can show is if it's not an accurate list of competitors, that'll tell you that Google doesn't know, the local algorithm doesn't know exactly what your business is about, and you might want to do a review. One of the questions, and on the website, people don't like it when I ask this, or when I mention this, is the Google search results page now your homepage? Do you need a website? Well, to rank, yes, you do, but how many people actually see your website other than Google when they scan your website? And local and brand search. So local search, or if somebody actually searches your name, is where the business panel is most often viewed. But there are dozens of other features on the search results pages where, as I just mentioned. The good thing for you is the Google Business Profile, though, is at the top. It's the most visible. On desktop, once you have your photos set up on the top right, you can actually see the images of your Google profile and the little map and the call to action button, so somebody can call you right away or go to your website right away. And Google has purposely made this very visible. There is a similar feature on Bing, but it's definitely 2 or 3 generations behind what Google is doing with theirs. What you can do, in addition to just adding the text information, is you can add videos, photos, offers on your posts, and also users. And this is something to bear in mind. Your customers and anyone else on Google can also add both reviews and posts. And there's not a lot of people that see the Google posts yet, but Google posts from clients, they're definitely visible. You just may not always know that they're there. And unfortunately, brand owners or profile owners do not get notifications when someone else has added a post. So, here's a familiar site. So just as we were talking about the, hi, Aileen. I'm not sure how to
sorry, I didn't catch what GMB stood for at the back.
Oh, sorry, the Google Business Profile. The old one was called Google My Business. So you caught one of my my spelling mistakes. So Google Business Profile used to be called the Google My Business and was shortened to GMB. Are we good?
Thank you.
You're welcome. So the GMB, or now GBP, as you can see on the right, the Innovation Factory has a beautiful image of the outside of their shop, and actually the map image, the sea outside, that you can see, that's actually taken by Google when they drove their car around McMaster Innovation Park. So Google likes that the same information is repeated, and then you can see the little map information. The little map information is there if you have a location-based business with an address. I recall there's somebody that has a service area business. In that case, you'll have a service area outlined as that part of the profile. And then on the left, you can see you've got the top of the list. And Innovation Factory, because they're so active on social media, Google has chosen their Twitter feed to be at the very, very top of their search results page. So right underneath their website, they have all their latest tweets. And you can see right now, this isn't the list of 10 websites it used to be. If you take a look at the Innovation Factory on search it out. You can see there's all kinds of other information. There's videos posted from other people. And actually, Innovation Factory is a pretty good review result. There are 4.9 with 22 Google reviews. There's a lot of information as well just below the title in the right column. So right below the business name Innovation Factory with their logo beside it, these are your call to action buttons. So you give the information that you want for your location, for your website. This information can be saved on desktop. There's more information on the listings, and then call right away. It looks a little different on your cell phone. You have call and you have website. You don't have the save button. But within that top little box with the title at the top, you've got 6 different things and links to even more. So you could take a look at their Google reviews. You can find out that they're located in the Innovation Park, the exact address. They were closed at the time I took that screenshot. You click down on the beside the Wednesday, you can actually see their weekly hours. You could click again on their phone number, and just below the province of Ontario, this is why you want to take a look at your Google profile on at least a weekly basis. The suggest and edit. Anyone that's logged into a Google profile or a Google email can suggest and edit to a profile. Most of the time it's done to help people. However, it can be done by a competitor or somebody who's just being a poop. So you do want to take a look at your profile on a weekly basis just to make sure everything is good.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. Where did you find those buttons?
Oh, if you see right below the word Innovation Factory,
Yeah.
it says website in a square, directions in a square, save in a square, call in a square, and listing details. If you Google that Innovation Factory right now on your web browser, each one of those squares is clickable.
Okay.
And the same with on your mobile device. Sometimes they're blue on your mobile device. Sometimes they're round. There'll be a little phone icon instead of the word call, because not a lot of people call, although I think Mark does quite a bit on his computer.
Okay.
Are we good on that?
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So I'm going to assume that you've already verified your profile. Once you put all the information in, everyone thinks, great, I don't have to do anything else. Well, there is a little more you want to keep doing. You want to add as much information as you can and fill out every single segment that Google gives you the opportunity to fill out. So as you can see on the left, I have 14 Google reviews. You can see I don't have a location. I'm a service area business. So the map on the top on the left column shows a service area that I've decided to work with. You do not want to put your service area as Canada. Generally, it's good to stay within a 2-hour drive of your location. So for example, 200 kilometers, you could go from Woodstock, 100 kilometers one way to, let's say, Scarborough, 100 kilometers the other way, and down into Niagara. Anything beyond that isn't really truly a service area, because not a lot of people are going to go to a local business that's 2 hours away. On the left, you can see, yes, Eileen?
Sorry to ask another question. What if you're just really an internet-based company and it's really just virtual?
Then you really shouldn't have. If you don't service customers in person, you really shouldn't have a Google Business profile. That's part of their terms of service. If you do actually see people, then you have actually driven to see people, then you could justify that to Google if there's any questions. But that's why you don't see Amazon with a Google Business profile, because you don't actually go to Amazon and pick up your products or any of those online only websites. If you don't actually have a business where you interact with people in person, that's why it's called the Google Business, or sorry, a Google Local profile is another way to put it. It's supposed to be for businesses that are you work with people directly and not an online only. Does that clarify it?
David, I was just going to ask, like, if you deal with people maybe virtually, right? Like even in a virtually online, in person, right? Maybe not physically. Mm-hmm. Would that not? Is there some way you could set up Google My Business to support that?
I would set it up as a service area, but I would still keep the service area business to within 2 hours and not do a cross Canada or a multi-country one. It is possible that if it's possible that you could meet someone, I know Google kind of loosened a little bit with the last couple of years and people not being able to get out as much. But one of the challenges is if you're not able to get reviews, then it's hard for them to understand the authority of your business. The exact terms of service is you have to have a business location. So if you actually have a home business where you're working out of your home, that would be the place that they would send the verification information. Does that answer your question, Eileen?
Can I just pipe in for a second?
Sure.
When I set up my profile and they mail you the physical postcard, you have to give them an address.
Yes.
So once in a while, I go to people's homes and teach in the center at the senior centers.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't remove the address because once in a while people drop off equipment here. And when it was suspended at the end of all of it, it turned out they wanted a picture of the sign above the business. And
Yes.
that was how I managed to unsuspend myself, was that by removing the address and only showing the service area.
Yes, that's if you're working out of your house, then it definitely needs to be, as you found out, it definitely needs to be a service area business.
Right.
Working, and that's one thing, simply because they actually do drive. They actually know where you are. They know where your IP is. They know where you work out of. Google knows a lot that they don't tell us, which is both good and bad. Pardon me. So yeah, the service area business, especially if you're home-based, like I don't have people come to my home. I work out of a co-working space, which is actually also not the best place to have your business out of, because Google wants to see external signage for you to have a location-based business, as you found out.
Yes.
And there are a number of people. If you can see the guy on the right, there's two images just on the right of the screen. The one image was him a year ago, and he had his location where the house had not yet been built. The image right beside that, where you see it says permanently closed, it looks like the person that now lives in that house decided they didn't want people coming to their house for a business they didn't know anything about.
Right.
So that's
Okay.
that's the key differentiator between a location-based business and well, think about a plumber. A plumber, you don't go to a plumber to get your pipes fixed. The plumber comes to you. So a plumber or any home service technician of any kind, whether it's an electrician or somebody working on your siding or your roof, those all are, if you don't have a location where people come to you and you don't go to some place to get your roof done, they come to you. Those are great examples of service-based businesses. And myself, where I don't have people coming to my house on a regular basis, the same way.
Right.
It does decrease your ranking, your authority a little bit, but if your competitors aren't doing as much to optimize and manage their profile as you are, there are ways of exceeding and beating your competitors in the Google in ranking on Google. I have one client I've been working with, a lawyer. He's got a couple other lawyers in his building, and just by optimizing his profile, optimizing by saying optimizing, I mean adding all the information, keeping it updated, making sure the rest of your search results are similar, have the same information. He's been able to go in some categories 5 or 10 positions up in the Google rankings for the Google local rankings. So the biggest advantage you all have that are listening today is more than your competitors. You're learning more than your competitors, and you're going to be able to work with your profile, add content to your profile, give it some more information, and outrank them because they simply don't know how to do it. And because this is the first thing that's seen by every single person that searches for your business, you want to give them as much information as you can, and you don't want to tell your competitors about it. So there's two ways now. It used to be on the right side, you can see, and you can still access this screen. If you want to afterwards, please reach out to me. There'll be my email and my LinkedIn at the end to see how you can see this profile manager page. What's happening now, though, is Google understood this looks really complicated. A lot of people get really intimidated by row of buttons and information they don't understand. So what they've done is once you've logged into Google and you search for your business, you can actually see the three boxes with the little arrow beside it. You can edit your profile right on the search results page. So you don't have to go into this complicated and kind of intimidating looking business manager unless you really want to do some detailed information. And where you see where customers is, you can even answer reviews right on the search results page without going into the business management page. There is some talk, there has been some discussion that Google will be discontinuing the profile manager unless you manage multiple businesses. So it's good to be familiar with what information you can update and how you can interact with your clients when you search your own business logged in. Is there any questions about using the search results versus the profile manager? Okay.
David, I actually just want to go back to Eileen's case. Sorry.
Sure.
So Eileen, what area will you be covering with your product?
So it's totally web-based. So we're going to target the local community for our fundraising program, but English speakers, kids, or people who are learning English, that is our goal. So we are aiming global eventually, but we'll start with Ontario.
Okay,
So
go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to say for the fundraising, what are you doing for that?
So we're going to have a campaign here in our local area. So we're going to go to the schools where my child actors go to school and have a live event. We're going to be in the newspaper, to do a lot of Facebook ads and posts, that kind of thing.
So maybe that's something that would make sense to create and post. I don't know, thoughts, David?
Well, as long as you're going to be having some kind of events in the area, you know, definitely keep it as Hamilton for sure. As you said, English speaking, that's not really a target market. You might want to niche down a little bit to see who exactly within somebody who speaks English you want to work with. So
I guess I'm just trying to be brief. Sorry.
That's
it's
okay.
People that are learning English, like we're starting with elementary students, like K-3, K-.
Okay. So initially your area is going to be the Hamilton, Burlington, this end of the GTA?
Actually, Owen Sound.
Oh,
Grey Bruce.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Well,
you're
then-
welcome to come on.
Then definitely for your area, you want to have, you know, it located in that local area and then expand out from there. You know, I don't know how many people, I'm not familiar with the new Canadians that have settled in that area, but definitely have it located in that area and then move out from there as you go. You know, your website will be more helpful as you get bigger as well, and your other social media channels definitely will be helpful. But you can do posts that target and mention your local geographic area when you do Google posts, because that'll help people when they're searching for the kind of help and the kind of services that you're offering.
Thank you. I've also rented an address from a co-working space in Sound, but the work is done pretty much at my home in Wyerton.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Co-working spaces are great. I've survived through COVID at a co-working space, and you know, definitely it's a great place other than sitting at home all the time, which can be a challenge.
Thank you.
And Abeda?
Yeah, hi. So I've been listening in, and as I mentioned earlier, Paper Spree is a wholesale business, and we are a home-based business. We still seem to be on the top search, but I've not worked on Google for the longest time. I think someone has used my keywords for promoting plastic-free or tree-free paper, which is my keywords. So they are showing up before me. But you are saying that being a home same business is going to be a drawback for us, right? And so far, I have still held the rankings because probably there are no competitors to what I'm doing. And or should I look into something else? Like, what is the suggestion for me as a wholesale business of products?
Well, right now you do have a location that you're working out of at home.
Yes.
Okay, I would keep it as a service-based business until you actually move into a an office where you're gonna, or a location where you're gonna be seeing mail. If you're not having problems right now, keep doing what you're doing and just expand on what you're doing by increasing your online authority and, you know, increasing the quality of your website, answering questions. I'm not sure, I don't know enough about your niche really to give you advice on how to work that niche better without doing some research. But if you're already at the top for what you want to be found for, are you growing at a point where you can see yourself moving into a location in the next 6 months to a year outside of your home?
Yes, I will have to look into that. So at this time, sorry, my mistake. I was, if you Google paper spree, then I'm showing up in the area,
Okay.
sorry. But if you Google something like plastic-free journal or notebook, I still show up, but there are these days, you know how Google has the first page full of ads,
The
right?
top of
And
the page,
then,
yes.
yeah, and the top of the page, yeah. So we are a product-based business, and being wholesale, could I also add show up as a service? Because we are not front or face retail, and my niche is to attract brick and mortar and anyone who wants to buy supplies to stock in their stores, because we sell to retailers.
Yes. Well, you want to put your products out, and you definitely want to make it known that you're a wholesaler in your posts. What I would take a look at is what is the larger, like go one step back, and what part of the paper industry or the journal industry, or like, are you trying to sell to Staples? You're trying to sell to local office supply stores?
Yes, I'm trying to sell to definitely all kind of local office supply, stationery stores, gift novelty stores, and from a small brick and mortar who'll order as small as $500 to a Staples or Indigo, whoever's procurement manager's attention I can get.
So what you want to say is in your description of your Google profile and in posts that you update on a regular basis, you want to say that you do wholesale these products. You can also add images to your images to the products in the product part of your Google profile. And if you haven't taken a look at that, I would definitely take a look at that.
Yep. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so we're back to the Google Map or local pack. It looks simple, as we talked about before, but even that, each little box of those 5 boxes or 4 boxes there, those 4 businesses, there's, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 different things in each little box. You've got their business name, and the top one is an ad. And actually, that's in Burlington. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense for Ancaster, does it? So Napa and the 2 elite automotive locations in Ancaster, you've got their average star rating, you've got a visual of the average star rating, how many reviews they've had, what niche they're in, how long they've been in business in some cases, their location, whether they're open or closed or when they open next. And do you see those little blue dots? Each one of those little blue dots, that dot signifies it's a review. That's called the justification, and we'll take a look at we'll talk about those a little later. So these justifications, you notice the ad doesn't have one. So even though SWC Automotive has paid a lot of money to be seen above these other companies, they don't have that little extra snippet or justification, which is a little bit of text from a review. And if you had to drive 30 kilometers to get to them, but you see that Napa has great service and fair prices, and the First Elite has excellent service, would definitely recommend. I think I'd stick a little closer to home than driving all the way over to the other side of Guelph line. And so these justifications, that's part of the user-generated content that can be added to your profile. And that's where and sometimes an extra line of text comes from. Those justifications they don't help you in ranking, even though they're sourced from the reviews. They do help you, though, in conversion. So the more good things your customers say about you, and Google recognizes both the text and intent of these little lines of text. That's why they're adding them to these profiles, because they know, even though we don't know these people, we still trust them, which is a little weird, and I'm still trying to figure that out, but we'll get through it. So as I mentioned earlier, you really want to check and double check everything. So for example, the address here for the Innovation Factory is 175 Longwood Road with no period, S with no period, Suite B21, Hamilton, Ontario, and their postal code. If you do have a location-based business, you need continuity between your name, your address, and your phone number across all the places that your business is listed on Google. So all the directories, all the citations, your website, actually your website and the homepage of your website is even more important, because the Google local algorithm takes a look at your website and confirms that it's correct when you're setting up your profile. And because it can be changed, as we see with the suggest and edit, there's all kinds of things that can be suggested if something's wrong or something isn't correct, or a competitor is having a cranky day. So you really do want to review your entire profile monthly instead of waiting for something to go wrong. The biggest challenge that people have, and as Eileen mentioned earlier, the 6 to 9 weeks it is to get a business re-verified. It can be devastating for a business. And if you're on the opposite side, of the most cautious side, you're definitely going to have an advantage over somebody who's going, I guarantee that I'm the best person in the whole wide world. And actually, I had a client that just recently started with me. They were doing guarantees in the financial sector, and their profile was working out of a home office. Google decided that, and within their terms of service, there's certain things you can say and certain things you can't say. His profile was suspended and he had to start all over again without his previous reviews. So you do want to take a look at everything. You want to keep everything as correct as possible and do a monthly review, if not a weekly review. So there's different types of content for your profile. And I mentioned ranking and I mentioned conversion factors earlier. So just because you're in the same town as somebody as your competitor doesn't mean you're going to outrank them if you're standing right beside the other business. Distance is a key component of the Google Business Profiles ranking results. So if you're in East Hamilton in Stony Creek, you're not going to see your favorite florist in Westdale show up at the top of results because you're likely not going to drive half hour, 45 minutes each way. So distance is a key component. Relevance, it's Google's determination of your intention for your search. And the prominence is your expertise, authority, and trustworthiness, which comes from your reviews and the content being the same across multiple places on the internet. Now, for most people, developing their authority reviews and the content of the reviews are where Google gets most of its information initially from the user-generated content point of view. What a lot of people don't realize is the image. They can actually add an image. You might have been to a restaurant and added a photo to a review of your food or of the location. That's actually the best kind of review you can give. So if you have a friend or you have a business that you like, you want to help them as much as possible, add a photo to the review. And this could even be for somebody, if you're doing the online service, if you have a diploma or some kind of certification that you're offering, a picture of them holding that diploma, that could be a conversion factor in the future for somebody going, hey, I want that as well. And if a restaurant's closed, they're not going to appear as high in results. So if it's midnight and you're looking for a breakfast restaurant, for example, Cora's or Stacked or something like that, they're not going to rank well for breakfast at 2 a.m. But McDonald's might, because if they're open 24 hours, they'll show up at the top. Your Google category. So this is where it gets a little tough when you're doing an online business. Your Google category is one of the most top level factors for ranking. So that's where you want to really take a look what you're doing for your service-based businesses and make sure that your Google categories are exact. And you can add more than one. There is no negative factor in adding more than one category. You can add up to 10, but most businesses don't have 10 separate specialties. And it doesn't hurt to actually use search related content in posts. So if you know your clients are searching for something, you've done your research for your website and you want to be ranking for a certain search term, use that search term in your Google posts, and that can also appear in place of where that review was as a justification in that little profile snippet or that little list snippet that we talked about. And I cannot stress this any more than as emphatically as I want to. Do not use stock images on your Google profile. Google knows all the stock images. They crawl all those websites. And we've all got this amazing, you can see the little cell phone diagram in my text. We've all got a device that can take incredible photos. I remember taking photos 30 years ago and having to wait 2 weeks for the film to be developed. You can now do that instantaneously. If you have a product, if you have a service, if you have someone happy with your service, take a picture. You can upload it to your profile. You can upload it to a post. Google recognizes at the bottom there, the auto station. They recognize the building. They recognize there's cars there. They recognize at the top left of the photo, that's their logo. But one other thing is when you search brakes and brake repair, you can see they had an emergency tire repair. So they saw brake repair, but the photo that appeared in search was changed from that location photo to the photo of a brake unit. Google knows what the images are. Every single photo that's uploaded to a Google profile is analyzed, and Google determines rightly or wrongly how it's going to be ranked. So they understood that that's a brake unit. Actually, the brake disc isn't installed on that, but they understand that that's to do with auto repair and brake repair and tire repair. That's why they added that photo. If you have that photo on your profile as a garage, you're probably going to be the one that somebody's going to pick. If you don't have any photos on your profile, you're not giving Google that opportunity to choose you as the search result. And as I mentioned earlier, photos, especially when you're looking at your cell phone, are often only viewed 5 by 5 centimeters. So like the panorama at the bottom where it says see outside, that's not a really good photo because most of us have no idea what that is. And as I said, Google knows which images are stock images. We've all got devices in our hand where we can create amazing content, or if you need to, you can edit it either on your phone or create an image using Canva. If you haven't used Canva yet, it's a great free, there's a free version as well as a paid version. The free version allows you to create so many things so simply without going to a graphic designer. And most graphic designers don't want to be bothered for a small image or the cost that they'll need to charge you for a small image. So Canva is a great friend when you're trying to create content for your Google profile. And again, if you're using your own photos and modifying them, it's an original image and you won't be down checked, I guess, by the Google algorithm knowing that you're using stock images. So as I mentioned, original photos always win. These are two of my favorite places. If you haven't been to the Szechuan Noodle Bowl downtown, you're missing out on some amazing food. And Momoko Donuts is a great place, and you can tell from their photography, oh, those are so good. If you haven't been down there, even just looking at those photos, I hope you're not getting as hungry as I am. One thing that was mentioned a couple of years ago and is still being touted by some experts is you have to add the location data to your photos. Google doesn't pay any attention to that. If you're uploading the photo as the owner of the business, they already know that you're the owner of the business. So spending time or even spending money to have somebody else add the location information to a photo is just a waste of time. And we all know stock images. If Google and other sites, HubSpot has done a survey, we all know what stock images are and we all gloss over them. So basically by adding stock images to your website or to your online content, you're just making people not take a look at your stuff. And if they don't treat your images seriously, are they going to treat your businesses seriously? So with all the abilities and all the functionality we have with our mobile devices, definitely take pictures, post them, upload them. You're only helping you're helping yourself, and you're creating distrust by using stock images. So Google Posts, everyone goes, I don't know what to do. What are they good for? This is a great example here. I did a post on my Google, my own business's Google profile take, and this is an example of how they can be seen on different platforms. So the top left is just that little snippet that's seen in your profile before the profile gets expanded. On mobile, you can see there's a little more information, and then the same image, I added a little more detail for desktop, so you could see that same image on desktop. But you can see that the multi photos or the collage is viewed completely differently on all three platforms. And the one in the top left, you can see the apple, but the other photos are kind of confusing. So this is another good indication of don't make things too complicated unless you only know that it's going to be seen on a desktop computer, where you can kind of see the location I picked the apples from, the bag of apples, and the single apple in the tree. For Google Posts, you can do a variety of different things. You can do an offer, you can do an event, let people know about an event if you're doing an online event or an in-person event. There's products, we talked about products earlier, so you can do products as part of your Google profile, or you can do a product post. And everyone's like, what do I do? I don't know what to do. Well, what are the questions your customers ask? Answer your questions or your prospective customers' questions, and use the insights or use the analytics from your website. You know, why are people coming to your website? The more information you give them that answers the questions before they even get to your website, the more likely they are to hit that call button or hit that I want to talk to them button and go to your connection page on your website and say, hey, how do we work together? So as we talked about, tell people about your business. When you're starting out, you definitely want to just let the Google algorithm know more about your business. So the context that you add into the place where it says write your post, all of that information, all of your text is cataloged and remembered by Google. The snippets or the information that Google can put on that little justification we talked about before, that's only good for 60 days. So after 60 days, they kind of ignore your post and pay attention to your more recent posts. You can add a call to action button, which could be learn more, call now. There's a variety of different options that they have, about 4 or 5 different options. And you want to make sure, because as you saw on the last slide, there isn't a whole lot of information always seen. So your first sentence is the most important thing. If we go back to that one, take the time to support local businesses. Boom. If you want to know more, A, I had a colorful photo. B, I gave people a bit of a challenge. And you can tell a story, because giving everyone the statistical information, this is something I say in all of my presentations, 42.7 of all statistics are made up. Statistics are not remembered. When we're kids, our parents teach us by stories, and grandparents teach us by stories. They don't teach us by statistics. So tell a story in a few sentences. Have your first sentence as a bit of a hook to let people know there's something else going on, and just get a little better at writing for social media and for digital media. It's not the same as writing long form or writing for your website, because you really only have a few seconds that they're paying attention to your profile. If they get to the part of your profile where they're seeing your posts, they've already demonstrated interest, and Google is keeping track of how far down and how long they stay, the dwell time that somebody looks at your profile. So if they get to the point where you've got a beautiful photo, people want to click on the photo. As soon as they click on the photo, Google records that. Google records how many views and how many clicks of your call to action button. I actually had a client, one of my newer clients last night, called me up excited saying, I got a click. Is that good or bad? Well, they had a click on their call to action that went to their website, and they're on their way to getting a new client. So that's a good thing. Pardon me. We talked earlier about that little snippet of text, that little blue dot. There's different kind of blue dots that signify different justifications. But a justification, as we saw, can help you stand out amongst the ads at the top, for example, that didn't have that. And the challenge with ads is they are there, but we also kind of gloss over ads. It's kind of like stock images. Once we see that little word ad, we'd rather support the local business that hasn't paid than the big corporation or the big organization that's paid for the ad. So all the information you can give Google, whether it's the information in your post, the information in your profile, the information on your website, all that information is important to increasing your authority. And these justifications are small little bits that Google has determined, either whether it's a stock level on your website if you're a bigger company, or the information that they've asked for certain, let's say, as we saw the brakes, I need my brakes fixed. Well, if that company, if the auto station had a recent review that said, you know, they fixed my brakes, it was awesome, I can stop now, that would have been the text and the justification. So if any aspect, and how you win is if any aspect of a listing signals to the customer that this business is one of the best that can best fulfill their intent, it's a win for you. You're going to be the one they're going to be contacting. And justifications, as we saw, can make or break. If you have them, that's amazing. I was able to have this one earlier last year. The exclamation point is from a justification from a post. So if somebody was looking up Google optimization in Ancaster, I said in my post, we'll share the latest tips and tricks on how to effectively use Google. And there's a great not-for-profit downtown Hamilton, helps people with their economical bikes. Some great information there. And you can see the little blue dot is kind of a person, and that's a review. So a little bit more information. You might want to go to the New Hope instead of going to the big company that's bringing all their product in overseas. It's a little more economical, a little better for the environment to have something that's already over here fixed up. Big advantage for you is very, very few companies are using the profile to optimize their ability to have justifications as part of their profiles. You can control the information seen there with your posts, answering questions, provides justifications come from your services on your Google profile, and review justifications come from your customers. We're going to talk about video reviews a little later, a little more later. We did mention it earlier with the reviews being left with the photo. So review justifications are huge. If you can say, this is the best person in Hamilton to provide me with this service, that's giving Google information not only about your location, but about the quality of your service. And as there is at the bottom, sold here and in stock, those are larger corporations like the department stores that actually have their website linked to their Google search results. Most companies just don't have that ability. So Google, and uniquely, the Google reviews are both a ranking and a conversion signal. They can be used as a justification. You can see at the top there, provides social media video production, the review summary. They've actually bolded segments in these reviews down below because Google thinks those segments are even more important. And we all trust these reviews, even though we don't know the reviewer. There is, of course, some review fraud that happens. Sometimes competitors decide to leave 1 stars. On the whole, though, it's more trust. People trust these online reviewers even more than we trust our friends, and even more than we trust the websites that we visit. The one biggest thing, though, is the higher review count, and you'll see that quite often when you search the business with the highest number of reviews. As long as it's a higher, like a 3.5 or 4 star or above, will generally appear at the top. One of the big things people are concerned about is if they get a bad review, what do you say? Well, Google wants the communication to keep progressing on their platform. So if you reply to a review, they keep track of it. If you don't reply to a review, they keep track of that as well. If you reply to a review quickly, that's an indication of authority. So they want you to reply within 24 hours to every review that you're given. It's a good thing to do that because your customers now are expecting their reviews to be replied to. They'll receive an email notification from Google saying that you've replied to their review, and you're making them feel even better. A happy customer at the end of a transaction who gets a little boost because you've said something nice to them at the end is going to be a repeat customer. They're going to refer other people to you. And if your Google profile has their review in it when their friend, or has their review on it when their friend sees you, that's even better because they know that one of their best friends or one of their close friends that they know has worked with you, and they're more likely to not even search anyone else out. So for bad reviews though, what you want to do is you want to try and take the conversation offline as soon as possible, fix their problem, and then see if they can update their review. If the person is just not communicating with you, at least give the appearance that you've tried to help. So say, you know what, I really want to help you out with this. I want to make it right. Could you please give us a call at the number above? Because other people will be taking a look at your negative reviews and seeing how you handled the situation. You know, if they get to the bottom of the bottom of the funnel, they're finally on your Google page and they see that you've been angrily responded to every single bad review, you've just lost that customer even before they got to you. So replying to reviews, good and bad, you need to do it in a timely basis. And we've talked a little bit about search results and how things look. You can see here in both these results how Google has changed from, it was traditionally just that list of searches at the top of each of these columns. But if somebody is searching for you, it's kind of hard to actually see the website with all this information that Google is providing us with. What's also happening is we're all on our screens, on whether it's our mobile device in our hand, our TVs, our laptops at home, or our desktops at work. We want to communicate more efficiently. Video is the most important form, and visual is the most important form of communication on the internet right now. As I mentioned earlier, with TikTok and YouTube shorts and all the vertical videos that are coming out, what's happened in the last couple of years is it's gone from just that list of text to the whole multimedia display we have on here. One of my clients on the right, they've got posts, they've got video posts, they've got videos in the feed. If you want to find out about their products, you could click through 5 or 6 clicks on their website, or you can click right on the video that says, hey, this is what we do. If you can learn that quickly that this product will fulfill your need, you're just going to click, hey, how's it going? And give them a call or send them an email and say, hey, how can we work together? Versus, a few minutes on a page. Everybody just scans websites. Unless we're really, really interested in information, it's almost impossible to get a click on a website right now from a business perspective. But if you have all the information, like on the right there, you have posts, you have the whole description, the LinkedIn profile at the bottom, you're more likely to click there because it's more interesting. So the search results page has really come a long way. What you do want to do is you want to take a look at, when you search your business, just to review your search results page, you want to take a look at all the headings, make sure the information is correct, review all of the descriptions below. I was working with a new client yesterday, and every single one of the websites that was linked on his search results page had different descriptions. He hadn't realized that over the years he'd changed his business significantly. He was originally more of a kind of a boxing type of exercise, and he switched to strength training. But he has significant discrepancies and significant inaccuracies and inconsistencies on his search results page. So if somebody was taking a look at him, they reviewed his Google profile and they wanted to see more information, and they saw that he did 4 or 5 different things, that's a huge red flag, and people won't be clicking. If you give somebody a chance to find an inconsistency, they'll find it and they'll go to a competitor. You also do want to take a look, as you can see at the bottom there, whenever you do a Google search, you can see all images, maps, videos. You want to make sure that the search results for videos are about you. If your business, if you have a business name that somebody else is also using, you want to make sure that your videos are tagged properly and are shown in the search results page for you. So take a look at images, take a look at videos. Some people have found information that they didn't want public anymore. So there's definitely ways that the search results page can be hampering your business without you even knowing. So if you don't take a look at your profile, if you don't take a look at your search results page and determine that there are challenges, it's not the customer's fault. It's not the searcher's fault that they're not contacting you. And we can just see here, for example, I did the same for myself. There's videos in the search results page. On the left there, my Dave on the Deck from 2021. And then those are a bunch of the photos that are available from different social platforms, from LinkedIn, my website, Google Posts. That was a Civic Holiday road trip. There's all kinds of information out there, but if there's something I didn't want there anymore, and actually a couple photos are of me doing a presentation at the old Innovation Factory location as well. So those might be ones I want to update on my website to make sure that I have more up-to-date information, because the Innovation Factory has been out of that location for that location in the McMaster Park building for a couple months now. So we still have a few people left. Thank you so much to everyone who's made it to the end here. There's one part of the Google profile I haven't talked about yet, and you see it and you probably don't even notice it's there. It's called questions and answers. Most of the questions, and these actually can appear in search if the question matches the intent of the search. If you don't have any yet, you can ask and answer as yourself. And use your clients' most commonly asked questions. If you can have your clients' questions answered as they're doing a search, you're going to appear to be the expert. Your customers always have questions when they want to work with you. There could be things that they've had happen with other companies they want done better, they want completed better. So use the questions that a customer asks you or wants to know about you as your Q&A. And sorry. If a question in the Q&A section, you can actually have it thumbs up. So the most important question that you want people to see, if you and two of your friends give it a thumbs up, then that question will be the one that automatically appears at the top in the Q&A segment of your Google profile. Wow, I've been going on for a while. Any more questions for everyone that's left? Hello?
Yeah, hi David. No, it was a very insightful session. Thank you. I'm actually kind of blown away by how insightful Google can be for a small business.
It's scary, horrifying, and exciting all at once, because if you
Yes.
give them all the information you can definitely be seen as an expert, even above larger organizations that have a significantly higher marketing budget. They're paying for ads. A small business can compete on local, like a small restaurant can compete with the biggest chains in Canada, and quite often outrank them.
Amy, you had a question in the Q&A. And it was, maybe you could just ask David, because I wasn't quite sure what you were referring to.
I actually found it when I went and peeked at my profile. I didn't realize I could do it that way. And I think what led me to getting suspended was that I wrote, every time I would go in, and I'm going to share this for anybody left, every time I would go in to do an update, it would offer for me to do a review. And I could never understand why it wanted me to, what I thought was review my own business. So finally, one night, late at night, I stupidly clicked on it and I wrote, "This is me. I love opening up the world of technology to older adults." And then when I woke up in the morning, I was banned. And I didn't understand from the email they sent me what the problem was. It never mentioned the review. But now that you've pointed that out to me and I found that Q&A, I see this is an amazing way for me to communicate with my seniors for questions that come up over and over again, a great way for me to share information. And also, I have not made videos, and I think that it's long past time for me to begin to do that. So, sorry, one other thing, the information you've shared is really great. I appreciate it. Some of it I knew, but a lot of it was new for me. So
Awesome, thank you.
thank you.
Wow, I believe there will be a recording put up on YouTube. Is that true, Greta?
So I will send out the recording to everyone that registered, along with David's information. And I apologize, my Roomba decided to start up. So that will be sent out within the next couple of days. So if anyone is actually interested in delving in more and would like to take on David, I know he is very willing to help any of those that are here today. So, and I think I see another question from Abeda.
Yeah. Hi, David. Just sorry. I
Hi.
hope I'm not extending the time here.
No,
But,
not at all. We're here for you.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much. So I must say I have not been to my profile for the longest time, and I'm just put Papers Free in, and I see my Google business profile, and I just have the website button there and the save button there. I do not have my location, and then it shows a world map, and I probably have all of North America because I'm a wholesaler. I can ship to North America, so that's what is showing up as. So coming back to that, I'm a home-based business. This is good enough, you think so, or should I put my location?
Being a home-based business, if you put your location, you're putting yourself at risk of having your profile suspended.
Okay. So this is good enough. Okay.
Sorry,
now,
pardon?
how I only thing is the call to action. If I have to add my phone number here, is it a good idea? I've not put my phone number, and can I then link my phone number to call to action for people to receive calls?
You definitely should have your phone number on your profile if that's the way that you want to be communicated with. Without your phone number there, a lot of people think you're you're missing a ranking factor for your profile. So
Okay.
Google wants your name, address, and phone number to be consistent across your website, your profile, and all the other citations for your business. Without having your phone number, you're actually kind of hamstringing yourself quite a bit.
Okay. The reason I kept my phone number away from this page was just for scams. But and you get odd calls, but I think I will ignore that and have my phone number here. And that phone number can be my call to action. People can call me then.
Well, it is one of your call to action buttons at the top. You can also have it as the rest of your profile. And depending on your business and Google's inclination, you may be able to include it as a call to action in your posts.
In my post. Oh, great. Okay.
Yeah. So
thank you so much.
There's different call to actions available depending on business categories for the Google business profiles. So you want to take a look at, and even depending on the niche within, some businesses have it available and some don't. And there's just some things that haven't yet been determined. Google doesn't tell everybody everything, even though there are a lot of experts out there. And are you good then? You're going to be adding your phone number?
Yes, I'm sure.
Awesome.
I will add my phone number now, and I'll stay away from the postal location address, not give my PIN. This looks good now. And then once I add my phone number, you think I'll see a call to action button if I link it?
That button, the phone number will just appear. It'll have a little call button up there.
Oh, great. Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes, next question.
One question is, how important is it to have, the word went out of my head, the security on your website?
I'm not a website expert, but if you're in the web industry and you don't have it, you definitely want to have the HTTPS.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, sorry, David, there was one more question I forgot. And the keywords, so in my content, if I now, because I'm doing Christmas decor is my biggest product now. And you think when I add the images and I create content, if I put my keywords, which are similar to my website, that's the way to then generate my Google ranking also, right? Like plastic free Christmas decor or something like that.
Well, yeah, you'd want to add that as your products, and you'd want to add that in posts. You want to give Google as much information as possible. When you update information with a photo and your description in a post, and then you link it to that product page on your website, that information can be displayed on your profile when somebody does a search within a few minutes.
Right.
So, but
Right.
it won't, it's not pushed there because you're not paying Google to put it there. But if somebody searches for plastic free decor, then you have a better chance of showing up. And
Right.
with the post, you know, the best time to do a post is second best time to do a post is today. The best time to do a post was yesterday. So
Right.
just start seeing how for your primary keywords, add a post every couple of days if you want on your Google profile, and then search in hidden browser mode to see how often those the search terms come up and the posts are mentioned in your search results. So the key thing is don't search when you're logged into Google. You want to search in another browser when you're logged out to see results.
Like incognito.
Yes, because otherwise Google is taking the search history of your profile and that's modifying the results that you'll see.
Right. So is it because I have put in these keywords, but I put a hashtag before them. You think that's a mistake or?
It's not helpful on Google profiles.
Okay, that was my mistake then.
Yeah,
great.
So you don't want
because
to do a
I'm
long.
seeing I have my keywords with all my images and my product post, but it's with a hashtag. So that's my mistake. Okay.
Yeah. Don't do hashtags on Google profiles. It doesn't.
Okay. Thank you so much.
It doesn't do anything. You're welcome.
There's one more question in the Q&A there.
Oh, okay. E-commerce is Saeed. Are you still here, Saeed? Okay. Yes, you can have products, can also be shown. Products are displayed on Google profiles, both on desktop and on mobile, Saeed. Services are used as a justification. So but you can have a service as a product and a service. So you just need a graphic with it. So I don't know about the business details. So I don't know exactly what your business is. Sorry, I've forgotten. But yeah, definitely take a look at services, add a graphic. You can make a service into a product that way and have a call to action button that goes to the page on your website. Awesome. Thank you, Saeed. You're very welcome, Abeda.
It's always nice to see you, Aveda. So thank you, everyone.
May I ask a question?
Tracy, do you have a question?
Oh,
it's not so much, well, I'm just getting myself really going. But I'm overwhelmed really, but I thank you so much for all of the information. I've learned so much to get myself going. Is it possible to get in touch with you once I've kind of got myself and I know?
Sure.
Okay, because that's what I really want to do is once I've got it going and I've got my questions, can I get back in touch with you?
Yeah. I'll definitely, if you want it, we'll just do like a half hour, and I wouldn't be charging for that. It's been a whole lot of information. Mark is probably shaking his head going, Dave, you've talked way too much. Dave, you've talked way too fast. But I just get so excited about this, and I know how much it's helped my friends stay in business.
Yeah,
There's so much that can be done with these Google profiles to help you talk about your business and how things are going. So please reach out to me. My email's on the screen right now. Please reach out to me on LinkedIn as well. And I do post content on my LinkedIn on a regular basis, helpful content, things that I think can make a difference for clients and even for people that don't know me. There's people from across North America and even outside of Canada have reached out to me and said, hey, how does this work? And it's so easy. We have such an ability to make a difference in our own businesses, but there's just so much else going on. So you don't need to be the expert in the Google profile. You now know someone who is.
Great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, David.
You're welcome. Did Megan have any questions? She's been quiet the whole day.
Sorry about that. Yeah, no, I've no questions at this point, although I do have a few follow-up to do. So this was really helpful, David. Thank you very much.
Yeah, please don't hesitate to reach out to me on LinkedIn. It's a great way, even if you do change businesses or change jobs, to stay in touch. And
Great.
I think
Hi,
actually,
David. I'm
Mark,
sending you a request on LinkedIn, and I'll definitely keep in touch. Thank you so much.
awesome.